Welcome to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Community Report 95 for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. This was published on the 11th of June 2024, and I've got a feeling this is going to be the last community report before the full release of the game, which will happen on the 20th of June. And it's a fairly short community report, focusing very much on some additional features that have been added to the game in preparation to the full release. So we might as well jump straight in and take a look. It says, "Greetings, dear comrades of the Soviet Republic and all the fans of our game. As we edge closer to the summer, the rising temperatures remind us of the seasonal cycles in our game, predictable yet comforting in their consistency. While ordinary days may pass without much fanfare, it's from a broader perspective that we appreciate the steady progress we've made in both in life and our work." So, and we've got a picture of here what looks like a stadium, but we'll probably come back to that. I'm just going to read the paragraph below. It says, "This is the fifth summer since the game's early access release, a significant journey filled with milestones. Now we're approaching a particularly memorable milestone, the final public release of our game, scheduled for the June the 20th, 24. It's been a marathon, not a sprint, but we couldn't have reached that point without your support, feedback and cooperation. A heartfelt thank you to everyone involved." And I've been playing this game ever since it was first released into early access, but it seems difficult to believe that I've been playing it for nearly 5 years. Moving down to the next paragraph, special gratitude goes to our translators who have made this game successful in 17 languages: Spanish, French, German, Italian, Bulgarian, traditional Chinese, simplified Chinese, Czech, Slovak, Hungarian, Polish, Turkish, Korean, Japanese, Portuguese, Brazilian, Ukrainian, Russian, ensuring that most people around the globe can enjoy our game in their native language. All the translations were complete and will be available in the final release. I mean, I must admit, this is one element of gaming that I've never really considered, is the fact that part of the development process is turning your game into all these different languages. Fascinating. So moving down again, it says, "Recently we announced a DLC that will launch alongside version 1.0. This DLC will enhance the game for those who opt in without detracting from the experience of those who do not. For a closer look at what this entails, we invite you to watch this latest video." Now, for anyone who hasn't watched this video, this DLC is called Biomes, and what it does is it introduces 3 biomes to the game. One is Arctic, one is desert, and one is jungle, and each one of these biomes has its own kind of unique challenges. Now, I'll be completely upfront, I don't know that much about it because I don't have early access to the biomes or even the full release of the game. What I will say is, if any of you follow the channel, is that I am looking very seriously at getting this DLC because the biome that intrigues me is the Arctic. So, and I've actually been seriously considering revising my plan for what I was going to do after the game goes into full release. And I'm thinking very seriously about doing the Arctic biome. So moving down, in recent weeks, we've added some features worth mentioning. A new stadium in the picture above and an amphitheater have been introduced. The latter functions more like a cinema, offering cultural enjoyment in a compact form. Now, we'll just go up and take a look at the stadium. Wow, this stadium looks pretty cool, actually, because it's actually sunken down. And the only thing I can think of is that because these are outdoor buildings, that they may not actually suffer the wind. I don't think this amphitheater actually reminds me of an amphitheater I actually went to watch a concert, with this kind of circle around a central area. And if it's got the effect of a cinema, if it's cheap to build, worth considering. So moving down to the next paragraph, it says, "We've also refined our notification systems. Notifications now feature a color code to signify the urgency: red for critical alerts like collapsed buildings and new low happiness, blue for custom notifications you've set like no goods, sit in shops, stopped production, fire, green for informational messages like vehicle availability, and yellow for other important notices. Additionally, we've added the notifications list to the left side of the panel for easier access, replacing the time-lapse menu, which has been shifted to the settings menu." Well, which one should we start? We'll start with this one. So we got notifications there. I do really like the idea, the fact that you can now look at the messages from above. And it'd be nice if you could filter them as well, because one of the downsides of the current system is that you've got to kind of try and guess what the messages are, or just click through them. But it looks like they're still retaining the top right hand side, but the difference now is that you have this color filter which will allow you to sort through. So looking at this, we've actually got a message bar with 4 items on, which makes sense with this picture, which has only got 4 items on it as well. Now that is a very useful quality of life improvement. As I say, I have seen it on a couple of playthroughs who've got early access, and I was wondering what the colours actually did mean. Moving down, it says our other minor updates include the ability to filter parked vehicles in depots more efficiently, manually dispatch vehicles from construction offices to sites, and new hints about controls when placing buildings and infrastructure. Let's have a look at the pictures. We might get a bit more information from this. It says show. Oh, wow, yeah. Now that is a very big quality improvement, especially for any of you who play realistic mode. The ability to know what's in the depots and what's available, and this would be particularly useful for me because I have a habit of parking vehicles that I temporarily don't need into depots, and then I tend to forget where I actually left them. That's particularly relevant to trains because when you're playing in realistic mode, you need to have trains in depots in order to bring in certain types of like wagons to distribution offices. So having that to find out where the relevant trains are will be very, very useful. And let's move to the next one. It says send to selected construction. Now again, and you can actually send the specific vehicle. Now I do like this because one thing that does annoy me is you get vehicles sat in a construction office and there's a vacancy for that vehicle out on a job, and it's always been left to the game to decide on whether to send it out. Now the fact that you can override the game, it could be quite useful, although it could be a little bit of a dangerous tool if you overuse it. What does this say? It says prefab, price funded from rubles. I've actually seen this on Bill Joe's current playthrough, and I must admit I did wonder where it actually came from. So what we got here is the actual some hints on the available tools when you're actually doing things. Now that could be quite useful because the ones I can never remember is things like batch select and bits and pieces like that. But so now we've actually got cues across the top now to actually help us. So that's pretty good. And then, so to move down to the final paragraphs, it says, however, we are currently addressing a crash issue in version 0.9.015 and 0.9.016 related to an auto cracker, game crashes during loading tool initialization. A fix is prepared and will be included in the 1.0 release. That is an example of one of the reasons why I'm not playing the beta at the moment. And I'm kind of waiting for the full release to go out. So moving down, it says, looking ahead, we will soon introduce achievements, but more details on that will come in the future report. This isn't our last update. After the release of the development will continue, and we will share information about the future projects related to this game and something else when appropriate. I do wonder whether that last statement is an indirect hint that they've got something else on their mind that's possibly could be a new game or possibly a new DLC. Achievements, yeah, I've never noticed the fact that there aren't Steam achievements in this game. It could be quite fun, actually, if they do add them, to be able to go back and possibly try and get them as part of a series. So let's just do the final paragraph. It says, this concludes the report. Remember to enjoy life as much as you enjoy gaming and stay tuned for more updates. So, yep, very simple, straightforward community report. The biomes, I don't know that much about them. All I can looked at is a couple of short I've watched the trailer, and I think there are a couple of YouTubers. I think Party Elite is doing the desert, and I think Havoc is doing the jungle, but I haven't yet seen anyone doing the Arctic biome, and that's the one that really attracts me. And what I'm about to say now is pure speculation, but as far as I can tell, is that in the Arctic, the winters are going to be longer and very, very much colder. That's going to have an impact on farming because there'll be a shorter season. And it's going to be very interesting to see that. Also, if the winter's a lot colder, that's going to make heating far more crucial. And I'll be very interested to see how a really cold winter would affect the heating parameters at the moment. These quality of life ones could be said, well, they're just afterthoughts, but there are these the messages Yeah, I mean, it's really nice to be able to sort them by color, and more importantly, see the messages on the left-hand side of the menu. But I must admit, I do really like the sort by depot. That's something I will definitely be using, and also the construction office here. The other one, I think that's going to be more helpful for new players and players who can forget the commands, although occasionally I do need the commands. Anyway, this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. Any comments, opinions, feel free to chuck it in the video description. And so until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.